Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFC East lately, you know that things are heating up, and not just because of the play on the field. Rumors are swirling around the Washington Commanders, and this time it's not just about a game-winning drive or a clutch interception. We're talking about a potential blockbuster move that could reshape the entire division. And it involves none other than Jerry Jeudy, a name that commands respect across the league, especially after his impressive performances this season and his rising star status. The buzz is that the Commanders are eyeing Jeudy from the Cleveland Browns, and the trade proposal is quite intriguing. A third-round pick in the 2026 draft, which in NFL terms is a significant asset, especially when you consider the strategic importance of adding a receiver like Jeudy to this team. Why Jeudy? Well, for starters, he's a player who has proven he can make a difference on the field. His career stats already speak volumes: over 200 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns with an average of 13, 6 yards per reception and a PFF grade of 87, 8, which puts him among the top receivers in the league. He's only 25 years old and his potential for growth is massive. In 2024, he was on track for a big season before injuries hampered him. But even with that setback, his numbers remained impressive. Up until October 19th, he had 28 receptions for 412 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging 7 yards per catch. That kind of production is exactly what the Commanders need, especially in a division where every yard counts and every game is a battle. Now let's not forget that Jeudy is a burner, a true separator on the field. His 4.35 speed gives him that extra gear reminiscent of Deebo Samuel's impact on the 49ers after the trade in 2021. That speed is critical, especially when you consider how defenses are adjusting to the NFL's increasingly explosive passing game. Jeudy's ability to create separation, combined with his route-running skills, makes him a perfect fit to complement the existing weapons on Washington's offense, like Dotson, who's projected to reach around 950 yards this season. Adding Jeudy could push those numbers even higher, and it would give quarterback Sam Howell a much-needed reliable target, especially in the red zone and on third down. What's even more interesting is how this move could impact the team's overall offensive efficiency. Currently, the Commanders are averaging around 298 yards per game, but with Jeudy in the lineup, that number could easily climb. His EPA per target of plus 0.42 and YAC of 6.4 yards suggest he's a playmaker who can turn short throws into big gains. And let's be honest, the division is fierce. The Eagles and Cowboys boast tough defenses, and having a weapon like Jeudy could be the difference maker in tight games. Defensive coordinators would have to respect his speed and route running, which could open up lanes for Brian Robinson, who's been running hard with an average of 4.6 yards per carry. From a strategic standpoint, this move makes sense for the Commanders not just because of Jeudy's talent, but also because of the team's current financial situation. Jeudy's contract is manageable, and he fits well within the cap structure, with an estimated cap hit of around $17 million for 2024. That's a reasonable investment for a player of his caliber, especially when you consider the potential boost in playoff odds and Super Bowl hopes. Speaking of which, this trade could be a game-changer. The odds for Washington to win the Super Bowl could move from plus 11.0 up to plus 5.0, making them a more serious contender in the eyes of betting markets. Jeudy's route running and separation skills could be the X factor that elevates this team from just a playoff hopeful to a legitimate Super Bowl contender. But what about the Browns? Well, they're in a different phase right now. They're in seller mode, with a record of 1-5, and their offense is struggling, averaging just 18 points per game. The team is also dealing with offensive line issues, giving up around 3.8 sacks per game, and they're trying to free up cap space with this trade. Cleveland is clearly looking to rebuild and acquire draft capital, especially as they continue to develop their young quarterback, Deshaun Watson, who is under a hefty contract of $45 million per year. The trade for Jeudy not only gives the Browns some much-needed draft capital, but also helps them address their cap issues, freeing up around $10 million in space. However, from a football perspective, it's a bit of a gamble because losing Jeudy impacts their receiving core. Without a separator like Jeudy, their passing game could suffer a further decline, especially since they lack consistent weapons to stretch defenses. Back to the Commanders, what makes this move even more appealing is how it fits into the team's overall strategy. They're looking to elevate their offense, especially after some injuries to key receivers like McLaurin, Samuel, and Brown. These injuries have exposed some vulnerabilities in their passing game, and adding Jeudy would provide a much-needed boost. He's proven he can produce in the NFL, and his chemistry with Howell could develop quickly given his experience and speed. The division rivals like the Eagles and Cowboys are formidable, but with Jeudy, Washington could turn those matchups into opportunities rather than just battles to survive. And let's not forget, the division standings are tight this season. The Commanders, sitting at 3-3, are right in the middle of the playoff chase. A move like acquiring Jeudy could be the catalyst that pushes them over the edge, especially if he starts making an immediate impact. Imagine Jeudy stretching defenses, creating separation, and turning short passes into explosive plays, all while the offensive line holds up better with defenses focusing on other threats. That could open the ground game for Robinson, who's been effective when given the chance, and help Howell solidify his role as a leader on offense. Looking ahead, the potential of this trade is enormous. It's reminiscent of what other teams have done in the past to elevate their rosters at the right moment. It's about making the move when it counts, and the Commanders are clearly in that window. They're betting on Jeudy's talent and youth to be the difference in the second half of the season, and if they pull this off, it could be a turning point not just for this season but for the franchise's future. The NFC East is already one of the most competitive divisions in football, with the Eagles and Cowboys fighting for supremacy. But if the Commanders can add Jeudy and keep their core healthy, they could be the team that surprises everyone and makes a deep playoff run. Of course, there are questions and risks involved. Will Jeudy adjust quickly to the Commanders' system? Can he stay healthy after dealing with hamstring issues earlier this season? And what about the Browns' perspective? Are they really comfortable trading away a young, talented receiver in a rebuilding phase? All of these questions add layers to what could be one of the most talked-about trades of the season. But the fact remains, Washington is making a bold move, and it's one that could pay huge dividends if executed well. So fans, stay tuned because this story is far from over. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, and if this trade goes through, it could be the spark that ignites the Commanders' playoff push and reshapes the NFC East landscape. The division is already tough, with every game feeling like a playoff game, but adding a player like Jerry Jeudy could be the difference that takes Washington from good to elite. It's the kind of move that shows they're serious about contending and that they're willing to make bold decisions to achieve their Super Bowl dreams. And honestly, that's what makes this season so exciting for Washington fans, the possibility of turning the page and entering a new era of competitiveness, with Jeudy leading the charge. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Jerry Jeudy is the missing piece that can push this team into serious Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and breaking news, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This is a team that's on the rise, and with moves like this, the future looks incredibly promising. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Commanders.